Well, the big thing to come out of this meeting in Paris today was the fact that a security agreement has been reached if there is a ceasefire in Ukraine to protect the country, and the fact that the US will be a part of it. So the UK and France have signed this declaration of intent to send armed forces to Ukraine the day after a ceasefire is announced. So the US says that it will also support this multinational force, which is part of these long-term guarantees to try to stop Russia from attacking Ukraine again. So we know there's going to be this multinational force of some kind somewhere, but what that looks like exactly, we don't know yet. We've also heard that the US would lead efforts to monitor a ceasefire in Ukraine, presumably through things like drones and satellites. But all of these leaders at the Coalition of the Willing meeting have really been talking up this progress, including the US envoy, Steve Witkoff.
We also think, critically, that we are very, very close to finishing up as robust a prosperity agreement as any country has ever seen coming out of conflicts like this. It will aspirationally mean large, large possibilities for the Ukrainian people. And we think we've made a lot of progress.
So this meeting was all about getting Ukraine, the US and Europe on side and on the same page so that they could then take their position to further negotiations with Russia to try to achieve peace. There is still a major sticking point though, and that is the issue of territory. And that's something that it doesn't sound like Russia is going to back down from. So it's probably too early to say whether this meeting has been a success or not, but the fact that the US was there shows that that's a really positive and significant sign, and it shows that they're largely on board.
And Bridget, there was another very topical issue that actually would have threatened to overshadow this meeting entirely.
Yes, so the massive elephant in the room was definitely the issue of Greenland, and it's something that these EU leaders have had to grapple with after the US President Donald Trump repeated his threats that he wants to take over Greenland at the weekend. And this is becoming more realistic than ever, this feeling, because after the US's military operation in Venezuela. So EU leaders have been showing their support for Denmark. Greenland is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. And they are saying that if the US invades Greenland because Denmark is a part of NATO, then that would be invading a NATO country, and that would then spell an end to this alliance that has been running for more than 80 years. So it is a really fine balance that these EU leaders have had to walk, because they don't want to criticise Donald Trump because they need the US on side to achieve peace in Ukraine.